Tonight, grandfather stabbed. The woman accused of knifing him in front of his family makes a dramatic court appearance. Perth want to bunker down. A once-in-a-decade megastorm looms off our coast. $60 billion bungle. Pressure mounts to use the JobKeeper mistake to help more Australians. Behind bars, multiple charges for the driver at the wheel of this Sydney crash. And a mysterious light in the sky. We'll tell you what it was.
This is 10 News First Perth with Narelda Jacobs.
Good evening. A woman accused of knifing a grandfather in the neck has had an hysterical hearing in court. Her alleged victim was stabbed in front of his family as he was dropping off a toy to his granddaughter.
Laurie Dobson just moments after he was stabbed in the neck. The 64-year-old son, Matt, and his heavily pregnant wife, Renee, try to give basic first aid. As it all unfolds, the grandfather's alleged attacker continues to hurl abuse.
The one wound went straight through his ear and the other one through his neck, just missing his arteries.
Laurie was dropping off a toy bunny to his granddaughter when he saw his son arguing with his Banksia Grove neighbours.
Our daughter was at the front door and she heard it all and was extremely upset by the whole situation. Shouldn't have to see something like that as a 2.5-year-old.
Police allege 26-year-old Chanel Govan is responsible for the attack. Distraught and hysterical, she faced court this morning. Her family were there in support and say they have concerns for her health.
She's very mentally ill, actually. She has been for about 1.5 years, and I've tried to we all try to help, even herself.
To that man and to his family, I apologise. And we wish you a speedy recovery.
Chanel Govan was too emotional to continue her court appearance and it had to be cut short. Bail wasn't considered, meaning she'll remain behind bars until her next appearance on Monday.
Laurie Dobson is tonight in Royal Perth Hospital, where he's undergone 2 operations. A plastic surgeon needed to repair the damage to his ear.
My dad was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He tried to defuse it and unfortunately he got stabbed.
Nathan Brooks for 10 News First.
Bunbury man Damien Kyle Beckerleg has faced court charged with murder, accused of stabbing a 43-year-old man multiple times with a sword. Horrified residents called police as the victim bled to death on the footpath of Cleveland Bay Avenue in Eaton on Friday. Damien Beckerleg will front court again on Wednesday. Time is ticking to get properties ready with a once-in-a-decade superstorm looming off our coast. The out-of-season cyclone will collide with a cold front, and Steph Baumgartel reports we can expect widespread destruction.
Narelda, it might not look like it now, but at this time tomorrow we'll be bearing the brunt of the superstorm. A tropical cyclone travelling towards our coast will collide with a cold front. The weather caused by that collision is something we experience just once in a decade here in WA. But the last time we saw it in the month of May was back in 1981. The Weather Bureau says we can expect dangerous winds up to 130 kilometres an hour in the north of the state. Heavy rain also to drench the coast, up to 100 millimetres in some areas. The damage brought by this storm is expected to be extensive, so much so the Army is ready to help and interstate emergency crews are on standby to fly in should we need it.
I think Perth can expect to experience very strong damaging winds from that late Sunday right through Sunday night into Monday, and not really easing off until Monday afternoon.
So we're asking the community to secure their properties now. People need to clean up their gardens, people need to get rid of refuse, trim trees around the garden and secure furniture, trampolines, toys.
Narelda, with border restrictions easing, plenty of travellers have headed to the southwest this weekend. The advice is to head home early tomorrow before the storm hits, but once it starts, not to travel at all.
The government is under pressure tonight to extend financial support to more Australians in the wake of its extraordinary JobKeeper accounting blunder. The mistake has put $60 billion back on the government's books, but it's standing firm, saying it won't be handing out any more assistance.
Billions of dollars back on the table, and Australian workers want their slice.
I'd like to ask the Prime Minister, Mr Morrison, and Treasurer Frydenberg to show a heart and give us an opportunity so that we can feed our families.
This was the Treasurer's right-hand man on radio just last week.
If today you said to me, Michael, well, there's only 3 million employees who are covered, you know, it was half what we expected. In that case, I'd be saying to you, yeah, look, there's more of a likelihood of wholesale changes.
It's the same conversation the Assistant Treasurer is avoiding today.
This is all borrowed money. There's not a pot of money that we have sitting aside waiting to be spent.
What was meant to be a life raft for more than 6 million Australians became the country's biggest budget blunder late on Friday afternoon. An administrative error to the tune of $60 billion.
The credibility of Michael Sukkar and Josh Frydenberg has been shot into space.
The numbers have now been revised down from $130 billion to $70 billion, assisting some 3.5 million employees.
So it's, by any measure, an extraordinarily large scheme.
But the opposition isn't buying it.
The government said that they needed to draw a line in the sand because the program was fully subscribed. We now know that sand was quicksand.
This is being seen as an opportunity to extend the JobKeeper scheme to vulnerable workers. Many casuals currently don't qualify for the $1,500 fortnightly payment, and while the government concedes a significant error has been made, it's resisting calls to hand out more money.
We need to remember that businesses have been taking decisions based on the numbers which Josh Frydenberg provided, which have turned out to be wrong.
Stella Todorovic for 10 News First.
Australia's national death toll from coronavirus has risen to 102 after a man died in Victoria. It's been another day of low infection rates across the country, but frustration is growing in the hospitality industry as states roll back restrictions at different rates, with no one wanting to be left behind.
Another death in Victoria takes the state's toll to 19, but authorities won't say if he was a traveller, part of a cluster, or if he had an underlying health condition.
I really can't comment any further on this particular case. I can't comment on the acquisition for this patient. I can't comment at this point in time.
She says Victoria's coronavirus rates are high because of testing.
We're doing significantly increased testing compared to other states at the moment, so the more we test, the more we will find.
Today there were no new cases in Western Australia, South Australia, Tasmania or the Territories. Queensland recorded 2, New South Wales 3 and Victoria 10. South Australia started easing restrictions yesterday and it's celebrating.
And what I have learnt this morning is that you can have a breakfast martini.
Up to 10 people are allowed inside restaurants and bars in New South Wales, but it's increasing that to 50 from June 1.
Our state always leads the way, and this right now we want it to lead the way again.
Currently, the state's death toll and infection rate is still leading the way, but it's also pushing to reopen gyms and beauty businesses.
It's very much front and centre for us, and we're working on it. We're talking to the industry, trying to make sure we can get COVID-safe plans. It's imminent that we make some announcements in that regard.
Despite flattening its curve, Queensland is shut off from the rest of the country.
The border?
Yes, that's correct.
She has threatened to keep it that way until the end of September.
As I said very clearly, they'll be reviewed at the end of each month.
It's left the state's hospitality industry frustrated. This restaurant is just metres away from the New South Wales border.
So a lot of our client base is New South Wales. When it was shut off, it effectively shut off 50% of our customer base immediately.
One country divided by borders, governments and now rules. Candice Wyatt for 10 News First.
WA has again recorded no new cases of COVID-19 overnight. However, the state's total has increased to 560 after 3 historical cases were identified. 2 cases were linked to cruise ships. Both patients had recovered before returning to the state, while the third was a traveller from overseas. There are currently only 2 active cases in Western Australia. A survivor of a plane crash in Pakistan has described the chaos as the passenger jet came down, killing almost everyone else on board. The airliner was attempting to land at Karachi airport when it ran into trouble, falling short of the runway and smashing straight into homes.
The chilling last words of a pilot as his plane's engines fail. This is the Pakistan International Airlines Flight 8303 crashing just short of the runway at Karachi. It ploughed through the middle of a crowded residential area, flattening at least 5 homes. The number of those killed on the ground is not yet clear. Dozens of bodies were pulled from the wreckage. Aboard were 91 passengers and 8 crew. Somehow, 2 survived. One, an engineer, Mohammed Zubair, who unbuckled from seat 8F as fire took hold. There were children, he said, men and women, elderly, inside the plane when it started rising from the runway again. They started shouting and crying. Everyone started praying. The plane encountered trouble coming into Jinnah International Airport around 2:30 and despite being cleared was reportedly forced to abort and attempt a second landing. The airline says a check on the plane was conducted in March.
March 2020 में हुआ.
And has promised an independent investigation.
Aviation Ministry, Prime Minister की इजाज़त.
Pakistan had only resumed domestic flights earlier this week after coronavirus forced a countrywide lockdown. Authorities warn it could take days to recover the victims. Brett Clappis for 10 News First.
A teenager has died and 4 others hospitalised after a drug-fuelled party went wrong on the Gold Coast. Police believe the 19-year-old fell from a Surfers Paradise unit to his death. Paramedics treated the others inside after they were found semi-conscious.
A horrific end to a Friday night in Queensland's party precinct. 1 teenager dead, 4 others in hospital. Damage done allegedly by prescription medication.
It's very sad and strange to know someone died here in the building.
Paramedics were called to View Pacific Holiday Apartments in Surfers Paradise just after 3 a.m. It's there they found a 19-year-old Brisbane man with traumatic injuries after he fell from a unit balcony, a confronting scene for first responders.
Extremely difficult job for the paramedics. Welfare checks have been conducted on the crew that looked after the young male.
When police made it inside the unit, they found another 4 teenagers aged between 16 and 19 in a semi-conscious state after taking prescription drugs, anxiety medications Valium or diazepam. Less than an hour before the fatal fall, police arrested 2 16-year-olds believed to be from the same group for unauthorised possession of prescription medicine. Today, forensic officers combed the building inside and out for evidence to explain what happened in the lead-up to the tragic incident.
Until we get information that it's a non-suspicious death, it will be thoroughly investigated by the CIB and scenes of crime.
Paramedics say it's a terrible reminder to young people never to mess with drugs, prescription or otherwise.
Drugs are simply, not safe. Even prescribed drugs taken the wrong way are not safe.
Several of the teenagers remain in hospital. Police are waiting to speak to them to find answers. Matthew Howard for 10 News First.
Southeastern Australia enjoyed a spectacular but mysterious light show last night. It was less flying saucer and more a bright trail that caused the fuss, with eyewitnesses unsure if it was a meteor, space junk or aliens.
Blasting through the atmosphere.
Holy smokes.
People were puzzled.
That's a plane, it's on fire. Yeah.
Lisa was having beers in the backyard when...
My partner Dale, he spun around and he went, "Oh, what's that?" We all turned around and yeah, that's what was happening.
They weren't the only ones.
What the Have a look at that.
The most spectacular vantage points were in Tasmania, New South Wales and Victoria.
Oh my God.
But witnesses in South Australia and Queensland also spotted the space junk flying through the sky at an altitude of 70 kilometres.
Look at it.
Patrick McGrath had to pull over.
Just took a while for it to sort of sink in what was going on, and I thought, oh, I'll start filming that, see what happens.
So what exactly was it?
The last or the top stage of a Russian Soyuz rocket that had launched about 5:30 p.m.
It was carrying into orbit a satellite which can detect missile attacks, the technology replacing the Soviet-era OCO system that stood watch during the Cold War. The satellite has an infrared telescope which can detect heat, like the exhaust from a fired missile. It also has optical and ultraviolet sensors which helps track the target missile during its flight.
And even though it was launched in Kazakhstan, as it was moving over the Earth for about 30 minutes, that last stage was occurring over here in Australia.
Putting on quite the show.
It's the coolest thing I've seen.
Christina Costalis for 10 News First.
Still to come, the UK blocks Australia's attempt to allow travel without a quarantine period. Police under gunmen after a drive-by shooting at a Bedford gym. Behind bars, the driver at the wheel of this crash in Sydney refused bail after being charged with multiple offences. And surf's up. Wave riders make the most of a monster swell.
What are you hoping that a dog will bring to your life?
Oh, happiness. My wife's been very ill. She passed away. Before she passed away, she said, get yourself a little dog.
What a lovely day now. Perfect day to meet a new dog.
This is Ruby.
She's come in to us because her owner died.
When she came in, she was dragging her tail. She's coming to you now.
Oh, thank you.
That was when her tail went up.
Yeah,
Means that she's happy with us.
Yeah.
I think this is what his wife envisaged when she said, go and get yourself a little dog.
It's a match made in doggy heaven. 7 o'clock tonight on 10.
Different is making rather than buying, and saving rather than discarding. Embrace different and find the glad in it.
JB Hi-Fi's Big Screen Bonanza is on. Check out the hottest deals on big screen TVs 75-inch and above. Like a bonus $250 JB coupon with new release Samsung TVs. And free delivery and Walmart installation on LG. Buy in-store, online, click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
When your throat is swollen or painful, standard lozenges may not be enough. Call on Strepsils Extra. Its advanced formula goes beyond our standard lozenges and numbs pain fast.
Get Strepsils Extra at Chemist Warehouse now.
When it comes to any property, it's what's inside that counts. We understand that the true value of any home is the life inside.
What happens to all the dirt on your dishes? It flows in your dishwasher, affecting its cleaning performance. Add Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner, the only one that cleans your dishwasher while it cleans your dishes. Try Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner today.
Every 14 minutes, someone finds love on eHarmony. Now with more matches, a new compatibility quiz with deeper insights and enhanced messaging, the new eHarmony experience is better than ever. Start something real with someone right.
Have you filed a claim for compensation for a car or work accident injury? Do you know how much you deserve and what your outstanding claim is worth? Phone solicitor Simon Walters for your free initial consultation now.
Introducing BP Rewards. Earn BP points to spend in store.
BP Rewards.
Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards.
Or choose to earn Qantas points.
Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. Your rewards, your way.
In MasterChef's Best Dish Week, what will be the greatest ever dish?
My God.
Wow.
A gym has been fired at in a suspected drive-by shooting in Bedford overnight. It's believed a single shot was fired at 12 Round Fitness on Beaufort Street around 11 o'clock. Police today launched an investigation and are looking for the driver of this white van.
To be honest, we've just got no idea. There's no reason at all for us to believe that it's anything to do with the club. From my understanding, just a completely random event.
It's another blow for the gym. This is the first Saturday they've opened since COVID-19 closures. The shooting forcing them to temporarily shut down again. A motorcycle rider has died in a smash north of Brisbane. Police say the 36-year-old man from the Sunshine Coast was travelling on the Bruce Highway around 2 a.m. when he lost control, slamming into a light pole. He was declared dead at the scene. Witnesses have been asked to contact police with any information. A father of 3 is in hospital with serious burns after his Melbourne home went up in flames. His wife and children were also inside the Cranbourne West house when the fire broke out just before 3 this morning. They were able to escape with the help of a neighbour, but the man was badly burned and is fighting for life in hospital. The cause of the blaze is under investigation. A man is behind bars tonight, refused bail over a dramatic Sydney car crash. The 51-year-old was charged with multiple offences late last night, more than 24 hours after his car ploughed into a busy shop, injuring 14.
It's a scene few will forget. A car with wheels smoking as it pushes the one in front. Its driver can be seen at the wheel as his car ploughs straight into a packed Greenacre shop.
It's
horrible. Like, you know, you don't want to see that.
The aftermath inside the store chaotic. 14 people lay injured, including customers and staff.
I didn't see it coming. I just heard the crash and felt the impact.
The man at the wheel was 51-year-old Sabri Nasser, a painter who lives nearby in this Lakemba granny flat.
He was living by himself, obviously. He was a quiet man. He was living by himself. He sometimes isolated himself.
Police initially released Nasser after he told them he was unconscious at the time.
Was there a medical episode or not?
Based on our instruction, yes, there was a medical episode.
But officers rearrested him yesterday and charged him with a range of serious driving offences. Magistrate Holly Kemp denied him bail today, saying Nasser had 2 similar incidents on his record, one she described as having an element of predatory behaviour. That alleged victim was Wessam Ibrahim.
I don't know anything about the guy himself, just want to make sure that the situation is dealt with the proper way.
When Ibrahim saw the footage from Thursday's crash, he felt sick.
My biggest concern with this whole thing was that I just didn't want this to happen to anyone else.
Well, as you can see, the damage is extensive. It's going to take a couple of weeks, according to the owners, before they can reopen for business. But they're just grateful that nobody was killed.
I can't believe that I'm still sitting here, that I'm still talking to you guys, and it really feels unreal.
Nasser will remain behind bars until his next court date in June. Steve Hart for 10 News First.
Brisbane Airport's brand new second runway has had its first arrival. While the 3-kilometre long strip can cater for the world's biggest jets, today's special guest was quite a bit smaller than that.
It's actually testing the full navigational system, lighting system into the touchdown zone.
The official opening of the runway won't happen until mid-July. Surfers in Sydney made the most out of big swell today with waves up to 5 metres high. The wild surf attracted dozens of keen wave riders and onlookers to the coast, with the monster swell expected to continue through to Monday. The Bureau of Meteorology is warning the conditions could cause coastal erosion across the state. And that big swell's nothing compared to what's about to be unleashed on the west. Joining us now for all the details is Amanda Jason. Amanda, when will the storm hit?
Well, Narelda, we're actually starting to see the dangerous weather arriving tomorrow. Firstly, we'll see the winds picking up. We'll see northerly winds ahead of this system, and then showers beginning to arrive in the afternoon, tending to heavy rain by the evening. We've actually seen an ex-tropical cyclone, now a tropical low, which will be interacting with a cold front. That is going to cause some very unstable and dangerous weather conditions, and also a little more unpredictable than usual. Now, we will also see a low pressure system forming up within that cold front to the southwest of the country, to the southwest of Western Australia, which does mean that the dangerous weather will continue right into Monday. Now, today it was like the calm before the storm. We reached 26.5 degrees, and I'll have more details of how this will all change at 5 to 6.
Thanks, Amanda. We'll see you then. Up next, worldwide concern as a drug touted to combat coronavirus by Donald Trump returns alarming results. Brazil named the new epicentre of the pandemic. 3 Commonwealth countries condemn China's action on Hong Kong. And 2 dogs lend a paw in the arrest of a dangerous driver.
Get ready for MasterChef's greatest ever dish.
If there was ever a plate of food that says, I am back to win, it's this dish.
In a week of amazing food, one contestant will do something unlike anything before.
That was incredible.
It just blows my mind. That was absolutely perfect.
MasterChef's Best Dish Week starts Sunday.
Go ahead, give your taste buds a thrill and think beyond the flame and grill. Sausage baked, rolled, pan-fried or in a stew. You'll love all the things our sausages can do. The British Sausage Ham and Bacon Company. Australian made, the British way.
Life may look a little different, but Bupa is still here for you. Because you shouldn't put your health on hold. Because you can't get out, we'll help you at home. And because a little advice can go a long way. Because you can't go far, we're going further to give you the support you need. Bupa, because life happens.
At Bunnings, we know that restrictions are easing, and with more people out shopping, we still need to keep our distance in store. You can avoid the crowds by shopping on weekdays and in the evenings. Most of our stores are open from 7 a.m. Remember to plan ahead and avoid shopping in groups. Use our hand sanitizer, keep your distance, and use cashless payments where possible. Or you can shop online with delivery or drive and collect available.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Check out our trading hours online.
Introducing BP Rewards. Earn BP points to spend in store. BP Rewards. Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards.
Or choose to earn Qantas points.
Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. Your rewards, your way.
So why is Rental Management Australia different to other property managers? Well, it's in our name. We're 100% focused on managing properties, which makes us the experts in property management. We understand that clear communication with both you and your tenants gives you peace of mind. And that approach continues to deliver positive word-of-mouth referrals Australia-wide. There has never been a more important time for expert and experienced property management. Call Rental Management Australia, where your property is our priority.
Thinking about heating your home or office? Save up to 30% off premium Fujitsu ducted systems. Save hundreds on Fujitsu wall-mounted split systems. Visit ambienceair.com.au and find out why. It's more comfortable choosing Ambience Air.
Save up to 15% on your first year's premium when you get a new Allianz comprehensive car insurance policy online.
Hey, good to go.
Thanks. Get that Allianz feeling. Search for a quote today.
Have you found the one?
No, I found some losers on Match.com.
From the executive producer of Bridesmaids comes Stan's new series, Love Life.
I just want to be the kind of woman who knows what she wants and she's not afraid to go after it.
Starring Academy Award nominee Anna Kendrick.
Why do you need a boyfriend right now? This isn't Jane Austen times. Oh my God! I ran into Augie for the first time in 2 years. No. Wearing Crocs. Ew.
The brand new series, Love Life, premieres May 27, only on Stan.
Monday, Hayley, Mick and Anne are ready to rumble with Ed and Sam. On You, have you been paying attention?
We spend billions on them every year, but are energy drinks killing us? One grieving mum's plea to anyone who thinks they're harmless.
Plus,
You love me.
Seinfeld is back.
Pretty soon people are going to go, you know what? You've had your time. Move on.
Jokes are on Jerry. Monday on Studio 10.
Nearly 3 months after Australia introduced quarantine for international arrivals, the UK is moving to do the same. Despite a request from our government, there won't be any special treatment for Australians. Phoebe Bowden reports from London.
Grounding any hopes of an Aussie exemption, the UK unveils a plan to impose a 14-day quarantine on all incoming travellers, even UK nationals, from next month, knocking back a request from the Morrison government for special treatment.
We will conduct spot checks by mid-June to ensure that people are self-isolating.
The rules will be reviewed every 3 weeks. The UK is open to air bridges with countries where transmission is low. Global coronavirus cases have surged past 5 million. Borders may only reopen when there's a vaccine. One of the world's most fast-moving trials has taken yet another leap. Oxford researchers ready to put their potential immunisation to a real test.
Then we're also now enrolling a much larger number of individuals, 10,000 across 18 sites in the UK, to evaluate how well the vaccine works.
It aims to help the body ready the immune system to fight the virus and will be tested in children and the elderly. The Oxford researchers expect results in 2 to 6 months. It may take longer as the virus comes under control here in the UK. With fewer people catching it, the potential study pool is shrinking.
We've dedicated one of our facilities temporarily, which has a capacity of 350 to 400 million.
With growing outbreaks in South America and Asia, the need for a vaccine couldn't be greater. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First, London.
Former US Vice President Joe Biden has apologised for telling an African-American radio host he ain't black if he was considering voting for Donald Trump. The likely Democratic presidential nominee says he shouldn't have been such a wise guy during the interview.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump.
Mr Biden served 8 years as deputy to the first black US President, Barack Obama. Donald Trump is calling on his governors to let places of worship open this weekend. But Mr Trump's prayers for a quick coronavirus fix haven't been answered. A new study has found the drug he's been taking to ward off COVID-19 may be linked to a higher death risk. The medical journal The Lancet studied almost 96,000 people hospitalised with COVID-19 and found those treated with hydroxychloroquine suffered more heart problems, resulting in death. This is a shocking sign of the toll COVID-19 is taking on Brazil. At the nation's biggest cemetery, grave diggers cannot keep up with the body count. Officially, more than 20,000 people have died in Brazil, the world's new coronavirus epicentre. It has the second highest number of confirmed cases, more than 310,000, surpassing Russia and Britain. And the World Health Organization says Brazil still hasn't reached its peak. Australia, Canada and the UK have issued a joint statement criticising China's latest security moves on Hong Kong. Expressing deep concern, the three Commonwealth countries say the Chinese government's national security laws would restrict civil liberties. They called for freedom of the press and freedom of assembly to be enshrined in Hong Kong law. The Chinese Communist Party unveiled details of its legislation yesterday aimed at cracking down on pro-democracy demonstrators. Car rental company Hertz Global Holdings has filed for bankruptcy in the US following a sharp drop in travel during the coronavirus pandemic. Europe, Australia and New Zealand were not included in the proceedings. This comes as the 102-year-old company is saddled with close to $19 billion in debt and a fleet of almost 70,000 inactive cars. Hertz was allegedly under financial pressure before the pandemic as travellers opted for ride-hailing services like Uber. This is a high-speed car chase that had it all. Los Angeles police were astounded nobody was seriously injured when the driver of their stolen grey ute wound up in a head-on collision. The driver burnt out the tyres trying to outrun police, but that didn't stop him. He set the rims on fire before the vehicle gave up. The offenders then tried to run for it, but police were in pursuit. Their arrest was witnessed by a very excited audience, clearly thrilled to watch the bad guys get muzzled. A mammoth number of mammoth bones have been discovered during construction at an airport near Mexico City. Archaeologists have found the skeletal remains of about 60 of the extinct herbivores. They believe the mammoths may have died after getting stuck in the mud of an ancient lake some 15,000 years ago. Still to come, what sparked a major police operation in Melbourne. Plus, Queensland puts its Olympic Games plans on hold. And how your sense of smell could help identify whether or not you have coronavirus.
Elise, can you smell that?
No, unfortunately I can.
It's the smell of pure, uncut sport, and it is coming back, baby! AFL's coming back, league is coming back. Sports lovers around the globe are reacting like this. Cry it out, everybody. Cry it out.
It's sport delivered differently. Join us live 6:30 on the Sunday Project.
If you're struggling to balance work, life and family, you need to shake it up. Ensure Health Shakes help you get the nutrition you need to help your body build strength from within, with a prebiotic and antioxidants to support a healthy immune system, calcium and protein for muscle and bone health. Put more balance in your work-life balance. Shake it up with Ensure.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card when you sign up to a new service on the Optus $65 per month SIM-only plan for 24 months with 80 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. That's right. Sign up to a new service on the $65 per month 24-month Optus SIM-only plan and you'll receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card. Offer ends June 30. New services only, not available with other offers. Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
Go! Every time you pre-rinse, you waste up to 40 litres of water. Try new Finish Quantum Ultimate Pro. It scrubs, degreases and provides the ultimate shine, so you don't need to pre-rinse. New Finish Quantum Ultimate Pro.
Rental Management Australia is 100% focused on managing properties. We understand clear communication gives you peace of mind, and that's delivering positive word-of-mouth referrals Australia-wide. Rental Management Australia. Your property is our priority.
At Bunnings, we're packing our new project bundles to help you stay busy while you're safe at home.
And for us more experienced Aussies, it's so important to keep active.
We've got great project ideas for inside and outside your home, whether you're into gardening,
art and craft, decorating or DIY. So if self-isolation means you can't leave home at all,
simply check out our projects online, order over the phone using our dedicated DIY hotline,
and we'll bundle up everything you need.
We'll then deliver it to your door.
You know you'll make a great mum one day.
Wise men say.
You know, I had the weirdest cravings when I was pregnant with you. Pickles and ice cream.
Oh, if I can falling in love with you.
Chloe and Zoe are twins and Amy customers, so you have the same taste.
We both like our crafted cushions and finished faux fur. We love our HD, LED, LCD, 4K, pixel TVs.
Do you choose to save now or later on your insurance?
Later.
Buy a home or car insurance policy and Amy Flexi Premiums lets you vary your excess to save now or later. Choose a higher excess to save now or choose a lower excess to save at claim time.
You're with Amy.
Synergy and the WA Government are working to help those doing it tough right now, from households to WA small businesses and charities. To see how, search Synergy Help for You.
In MasterChef's Best Dish Week, who will make the greatest ever dish?
My God. Wow.
A woman's been arrested over a stabbing attack on a Melbourne train. The 37-year-old victim was sitting in a carriage at Albion railway station just before midnight when he was attacked. He suffered a stab wound to the back of his head and was rushed to hospital. A 24-year-old woman has been charged and will appear in court tomorrow. A man's on the run in Melbourne after shooting metal ball bearings at a marked police car this afternoon. A manhunt's underway in St Kilda, where the incident took place. 2 officers were in the car when the object smashed through the back window before hitting a second parked vehicle. No one was injured. A prisoner has been at large for several hours after escaping from a correctional facility at Glen Innes in northeastern New South Wales. Police say Salim Sensoy staged a daring escape around 10 this morning before being reported missing 2 hours later. The 44-year-old is described as being around 180 centimetres tall with brown eyes and grey hair. Researchers are trying to develop a scratch and sniff test to help screen for asymptomatic COVID-19 cases. A loss of taste and smell is common with the virus, but it often goes unnoticed.
James Tinsley knows a good drop, so when one of his favourites suddenly turned sour, he knew something was wrong.
And I realised that all what we call primary aromas in wine, which is the fruit and the flowers and the herbs, had totally gone, and it was very unpleasant.
The 67-year-old wine enthusiast had been holidaying in New Orleans in March. He was diagnosed with COVID-19 days after arriving back in Sydney.
I noticed food was tasting just bland as well. So when we got back, I wasn't interested in alcohol or food for that matter.
Loss of taste and smell is a common symptom of COVID-19 and often appears early. So experts from Sydney's Royal North Shore Hospital are using this smell test from the University of Pennsylvania to see whether the virus wipes out all scents or only some.
We don't know whether there may be some smells that are preferentially lost in COVID.
Researchers want to recruit 100 participants for the aptly named Smelly Study. They'll be put through a smell identification test where they'll be asked to identify 40 different scents, including lime, pickle, licorice, smoke, motor oil and turpentine. Those findings will then be used to develop an early detection smell test.
We'd like to recruit as many patients with COVID as possible to the study so that we get a better understanding of how common, how severe.
The study is expected to run for roughly 6 months, and researchers are hopeful a scratch and sniff screening test could be created within a year and a half. While more research is needed on the duration and severity of symptoms, James has recovered and regained his sense of smell and taste.
I'm back.
You're back?
I'm back and enjoying whites, rosés and reds again.
Cheers to that. Paris Martin for 10 News First.
Queensland's bid to host the 2032 Olympic Games is officially on hold due to COVID-19. Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk today confirmed she is focused on the state's economic comeback from coronavirus as restrictions slowly ease.
You know, really we're focused absolutely on the economic recovery here at the moment. I mean, they haven't even made a decision when the Tokyo Olympics are, so any discussion about it is very premature.
In a statement, the Australian Olympic Committee says it fully supports the Queensland Government's decision. It's time now for All the Day Sport with Ros Kelly. And Ros, it's getting ugly between Eddie Maguire and the Geelong boss.
Narelda, the Collingwood president, has fired off a sensational claim about Geelong president Colin Carter. Details next. Plus, the NRL and referees finally strike a deal. Rugby Australia's new CEO hoping to avoid more legal action after tearing up player contracts. And who has dethroned Serena Williams as the world's highest earning female athlete?
My wife, before she passed away, she said, get yourself a little dog.
This is Ruby.
Her owner died. When she come in, she was dragging her tail. She's coming to you now.
Thank you.
That was when her tail went up. She's happy with us.
Yeah. It's a match made in doggy heaven, 7 o'clock tonight.
Ladies, what's the first thing you take off when you get home? Your bra. Underwire digs, ouch, and back fat from bra straps is embarrassing. Introducing Ceramia, a bra so supporting and flattering, yet so comfortable you won't even know you're wearing a bra. Look and feel Ceramia good from the front, the back, the sides, even the straps. The secret is Ceramia's double conforming lifting straps. The lace strap is a lifting wrap, just criss and cross, to be cradled in comfort and youthfully lifted. Ceramia comes with adjustable support straps, so you get double the support, double the comfort and double the smoothness, all without underwire. Ceramia gives you 360 degrees of soft, breathable fabric, designed with front and back cooling mesh ventilation, so hot air flows out and fresh air flows in.
I'm literally obsessed with this bra.
It is super functional and super comfortable.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing.
I mean, look at it. Love it.
That's a bra that your body is supposed to fit. This is a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Ceramia fits all shapes and supports all sizes. A bra so supporting and flattering, yet so comfortable you won't even know you're wearing a bra. So no more cutting straps, no more poking underwire, and no more unsightly back fat. Call Global Shop Direct or go online to order Ceramia in your choice of black, white or nude for the low price on your screen. Want even more value? Upgrade your order and save with our Value 3-pack. You'll get one black, one white and one nude bra and save an amazing $70. If Ceramia isn't the most comfortable, soft bra you've ever worn, just send it back within 30 days for a full refund of the product price. Finally, a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Order Ceramia today.
Introducing BP Rewards. Earn BP points to spend in store.
BP Rewards.
Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards.
Or choose to earn Qantas points.
Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. Your rewards, your way.
I've been around for 29 years because the company is so good to work for. So I educate staff to educate their clients, make them feel and look great long after they've left the salon.
Our team making you look and feel the very best you can every time.
Infused oil deluxe crisps from Red Rock Deli.
In MasterChef's Best Dish Week, which one of these amazing dishes is the greatest ever dish?
Wow.
Good evening. The AFL's presidential stoush is getting ugly, with Magpies boss Eddie Maguire firing a broadside at Geelong counterpart Colin Carter. Maguire's retaliation comes after being told to butt out of the Cats business.
Geelong President Colin Carter is a former AFL commissioner who had the temerity to tell Eddie Maguire to mind his own business. The Collingwood president hit back with this.
I would say in my time in the game, that Colin going straight from the AFL Commission onto the Geelong board and becoming the president of Geelong was the biggest conflict of interest that I've seen. Because he had over 15 years of understanding what the AFL strategies were. He had access to every club's business plans, all that sort of stuff. But you know what? No one complained at the time because he's a man of integrity.
The Cats took exception to comments Maguire made about their handling of the Jack Stevens stabbing incident.
You know, it's bound to upset people like Colin when they make those sort of comments. We wouldn't make a comment about the treatment of a Collingwood player. It's none of our business. But as a media person, it is.
The incident is the subject of a police and AFL integrity unit investigation.
He's still to be assessed in terms of exactly when he'll come back to the club. We're hoping sooner rather than later. And hopefully within a week or two.
Cook has outlined just how hard the clubs will be financially hit this season.
And I think by the end of this year, you'll find some clubs, and we'll be one of those, that could have, you know, a debt of up to $10 million, mainly because there's no crowd.
He says AFL clubs will claw back their deficits through extensive cost cutting.
If we take $8 or $9 million out of our expenses, for the next year or two, maybe 3 years, I think it would take for us to 3 years to get back to where we were.
Geelong is tipped to play great rival Hawthorn when round 2 resumes. The AFL is expected to release the first stage of its new roster on Monday. Rob Waters for 10 News First.
The NRL has given the injury-hit Warriors permission to loan a player from a rival club, with the rules set to be signed off by the ARL Commission. Meantime, head of football Graham Annesley is confident refereeing standards won't slip with just one man in the middle after the NRL and Refs Union struck a deal late last night.
Surrendering their right to strike.
The referees decided not to proceed with the action.
After a dramatic day where both sides fired shots at each other, the referees' union blew the whistle last night on a weekend arbitration. A video hookup between referee officials and ARL Commission Chairman Peter V'landys ended the standoff.
They all got the opportunity to look at Peter and Peter to look at them, and they listened to what he had to say and they asked some questions and Peter responded to them, and he was as honest and open as he could be, and as were they.
The agreement guarantees a minimum of 22 full-time referees for the next 2 seasons.
They didn't want to be the focus of attention across the course of this weekend with industrial action. They just want to get on with their job. The end to this dispute was brought about by the referees themselves.
The NRL, which has used 2 on-field referees since 2008, had proposed using just 1 when the season resumed to cut costs. It's now won that battle with 1 whistleblower in the middle from Thursday's competition restart. And the NRL doesn't expect the standards to slip, but if they do...
But we won't be just, barbecuing the referees as a result of what happened. But, they've been around long enough to know that errors are going to be made. They may have to be replaced or relegated at some point during the year.
Michael Caine for 10 News First.
Rugby Australia hopes it's not headed to the courts again after terminating contracts of 3 Queensland Reds players who refused to take pay cuts. It's the latest headache for the financially struggling code, desperate for a new broadcast deal.
From Reds to Renegades, Isaac Rodda, Isaac Lucas and Harry Hocking's contracts are in the shredder. They refused a pay cut of around 60% as rugby tries to survive the corona shutdown.
189 players around the country and 150 staff have all committed to sharing the pain of COVID across our great game. This is the most prudent course of action for the 3 that were prepared to sign up to that plan.
Rugby Australia hopes it won't end in an expensive legal battle. The last one nearly bankrupted their operations.
Going to court is always the last resort, and it's a brutal ending to any conflict.
Rodda, who's played 25 tests, and Lucas signed long-term deals late last year.
Queensland means everything to me. I've lived in Queensland my whole life and I've been a Red supporter since I can remember. So I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to spend another 4 years here.
The The three players have the same agent and are believed to be eyeing a move to Japan. But Rugby Australia is far from the only organisation constantly checking the bank balance.
Other rugby economies are suffering as much as we are. Already players thinking that this is a ticket to a golden pot, I think will be sorely disappointed.
There is still no TV deal. Negotiations continue with Fox Sports about a domestic competition, potentially including the Western Force and Sunwolves.
And I'm confident that we'll get some clarity within a week or two, given that we're trying to kick off a Super Rugby season domestically on the 3rd and 4th of July. Time is of the essence.
Bence Hammerley for 10 News First.
Eagle Farm Racecourse was evacuated today and police called over a bomb scare. Eventually, the all-clear was given and the show went on. The Victory Stakes, the feature race, and a boil-over with the favourite, the James Cummings-trained Kementari, out of the placings.
Deep Image tries hard, Nick it over flying, Victorum won the victory.
So Victorum the winner from Nick and Over and Deep Image. Thank goodness we don't have to travel down under when COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. That's the call from England's Chris Wokes. The paceman is adamant playing at home with the Duke ball will be a lot easier than a tour of Australia, given the ban on using saliva to shine the ball.
Luckily enough in England, the ball moves around a little bit anyway. You don't always have to overly work too hard on the ball. So hopefully that'll work in our favour a little bit. But thankfully it's a Duke and not a cooker this summer, because then we would be struggling.
English cricket hopes to restart in July with home tests against the West Indies and Pakistan scheduled later in the year. Japan's Naomi Osaka has dethroned Serena Williams as the world's highest-earning female athlete. The two-time Grand Slam champion raked in $57.3 million in 2019 from prize money and endorsements. Goalkeeping is a thankless task for Souls Gloveman. It was made even harder by this clanger from a teammate in the K-League clash against Pohang.
It's unbelievable at the back for FC Seoul. A terrible error. Absolutely gifts Ilyachenko. But he won't get a goal much easier than that. Absolutely appalling at the back here.
At least there was no crowd to sledge that diabolical defence, but they still managed a 2-1 victory. Narelda, this time next week we will have Australian sport to talk about, the NRL kicking off on Thursday.
That is very exciting. Thanks very much, Roz. And coming up, a recap of the day's top stories, and the weather's about to get wild. Amanda Jason has the superstorm forecast next.
Get ready for MasterChef's greatest ever dish.
That was incredible. Incredible.
It just blows my mind. That was absolutely perfect.
I've never experienced anything like that.
Best Dish Week starts Sunday.
Jimmy's doors are open for business with the hottest deals in home entertainment. Like this Hisense 75-inch 4K Smart TV for $19.95. And stock up on movies and TV shows with buy one, get one free on Blu-ray and 4K. Buy in-store, online, click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
Domino's $5 pizzas are incredible value. They're made with fresh dough and vine-ripened tomato sauce, topped with stretchy and tastier mozzarella, and served with total peace of mind. Thanks to zero contact pickup from Domino's.
When your throat is swollen or painful, standard lozenges may not be enough. Call on Strepsils Extra. Its advanced formula goes beyond our standard lozenges and numbs pain fast.
Get Strepsils Extra at Chemist Warehouse now.
Want to sell something for instant cash? We're open. Looking to buy from a huge range of quality second-hand goods for less? We're open. Cash Converters. Find us online or visit us in store.
Outside, it's something to look at. But inside, it's a space to be. A space we fit our lives into. A space that brings us closer. That spans generations. Where we go to let go. In a Mazda, this space is 100 years in the making. And summed up in 2 words. Zum zum.
Every tub of Haagen-Dazs ice cream starts with 4 simple ingredients, with a selection of the finest flavours, creating a decadent, velvety ice cream. Haagen-Dazs. Take home extraordinary tonight.
From home time to sleepy time, IKEA designs around life's precious moments. So make mess, mohawks, and laugh until your belly hurts. Because with IKEA, there really is no place like home.
Have you filed a claim for compensation for a car or work accident injury? Do you know how much you deserve and what your outstanding claim is worth? Phone solicitor Simon Walters for your free initial consultation now.
Catch the Supercars stars taking on the world's best drivers and tracks in the BP Supercars All-Stars E-Series. Qualifying from 6 p.m, racing from 7. Live every Wednesday where you get your motorsport fix.
Do yourself a favour and ditch the majors.
Another real review from a happy Aussie broadband customer. With thousands of 5-star reviews, an award-winning NBN network and all Australian support, it's time to tell your telco where to go. Aussie Broadband. Can't beat feedback.
Bondi Rescue is coming up next on 10.
Tonight's top stories. A woman accused of knifing a grandfather in the neck has had a dramatic court appearance. Her alleged victim's family says he was trying to help break up a fight when he was attacked. The government's refusing to bow to calls for its JobKeeper package to be extended to more Australians. It follows the revelation that the government still has $60 billion up its sleeve because of a Treasury accounting error. Currently, some casual workers do not qualify for the fortnightly payment. Police are looking for the driver of this white van after a Bedford gym was fired at in a suspected drive-by shooting overnight. And 2 passengers have miraculously escaped after their Airbus crashed into homes in Karachi. The other 97 people on board the Pakistan Airlines jet are believed to have died. The cause of the crash is still unknown.
Good evening. The weather forecast for the next 48 hours is being called the storm of a decade. We have an ex-tropical cyclone which will be combining with a cold front. Now, it's pretty late in the season to see this. The official tropical cyclone season ended at the end of May. So to see this convergence of warm, humid air coming from the north with cool air coming from the south is what causes such unstable conditions and the threat of severe and very dangerous weather. On the satellite image at the moment, you can see that area of cloud all associated with ex-tropical cyclone Manga, and also the cloud to the southwest of the state associated with a cold front. Now tomorrow, as that trough starts to move eastward, we are going to see very strong northerly winds ahead of that, potentially damaging winds, and then this cold front will also see a low pressure system forming up in that to the southwest of the state, but we could also see other low pressure systems forming up along a line of this trough. Wherever we get those, we could see the threat of damaging winds and also severe thunderstorms as well. Now, we haven't just seen wild weather here in Western Australia, but also to the east of the country. We've seen a complex low pressure system bringing some wild weather to New South Wales and very cold conditions to Queensland. It is warming up a little bit tomorrow. Brisbane will see a top of 22 degrees. Sydney will get to 18 degrees with a possible shower, getting to 13 degrees in Canberra, just 14 in Melbourne with a possible shower, 12 degrees in Hobart, and Adelaide will see a possible shower with a top of 15 degrees. Now, for Perth today, it was a pretty warm one, but we are going to see all the conditions taking a turn. Let's talk about the severe weather warning. It extends from around Exmouth in western parts of the Pilbara, right down through the Gascoyne, the Southwest Land Division, all the way down to Esperance. It is for damaging to destructive winds. We could see localised wind gusts of around 130 kilometres per hour. It's important to tie down any loose items, really clean up the gardens, because this, as we see these damaging winds, it could bring some threat to property, and we certainly don't want that. Make sure trees and cars are not parked under trees. This is extremely dangerous weather ahead. On the waters, the winds will be getting up to 60 knots for a period as they come from the northeast, and seas will be to 6 metres. So we are going to be seeing some beach erosion right down the west coast as the storm does extend all the way from the Pilbara right down to the southwest, and then that system will be moving eastward as we head into Monday. Tomorrow, widespread rain across the Perth region. We are going to see the heaviest rain coming through in the afternoon afternoon and into the evening, and that rain will continue overnight into Monday as well. We'll see a top of 21 degrees tomorrow, the heaviest falls arriving in the late afternoon or night. And then as we head into Monday morning, we could actually see some thunderstorms forming up as well. So more severe weather as we head into Monday. Just a shower or two on Tuesday and Wednesday, but another burst of heavy rain possible on Thursday. So Narelda, some pretty dangerous weather ahead over the next 36 hours.
Thanks, Amanda. It is going to be fierce. So heed the warnings, batten down, secure your property, and we'll be back tomorrow night to give you all the information on the storm of a decade. I'm Narelda Jacobs. Thanks for your company. See you tomorrow. Good night.